Hey love, welcome to another episode of Food is Fuel. I hope that by now you're starting to see what foods are making you feel energized and making you feel good, and maybe what foods are not making you feel so good. Maybe some foods are making you feel constipated or bloated, giving you a lot of gas, maybe making you feel sluggish. We started week 1 with assessment, looking at the foods that we're already eating and trying to see what are the foods that we're eating that are really good and what are maybe not so good. That doesn't mean we want to completely eliminate it, although in some cases we may. So for example, my husband found out this week that the nuts that he eats every single day in his oatmeal is what's been giving him this allergic response. He thought that it was seasonal allergies, and I kept saying to him, think about the foods that you're eating, because the foods that you're eating can also increase your mucus production, can also affect obviously your stomach, but what we think of as seasonal allergies can sometimes be attributed to what you're eating, okay? And we started with our food journal, looking at it the following week and thinking about where can we start adding more food into our day so that we can have more energy to carry out the tasks that we want to carry out, and more importantly, because you're here because you want to lose weight, is so that you're full throughout the day with foods that are giving you good energy and giving you nutrients and vitamins that you need, making sure that you're so full that you're not running to those high processed carbs and unhealthy foods. Now I want to talk to you about how to set your plate up, okay? And you know that from day one I have told you that I'm not teaching you to eliminate foods that you love. I'm just teaching you to balance them with the foods that love you back. So today I created a traditional meal that in my Spanish household we would like, and that is rice and beans. When you're looking at my plate today, I want you to think about maybe what foods that you eat that are similar in terms of like carbs content and calorie content, okay? So that if maybe you're looking at my plate and this is not what your plate would look at like, I want you to think about where is your carb in the plate, where is your protein in the plate, where is your fiber in the plate, okay? So the first plate that I want to show you today is a traditional plate of how we would serve ourselves, how most people serve themselves, okay? So here, my beans might slide a little bit, so don't mind if they do, okay? Here I have some rice, I have some beans, I have chicken breast, which is actually pretty good, right? Chicken breast is a leaner piece of the chicken, so it doesn't have as many calories, and it also doesn't have as much fat. All right, so this is a good option in terms of meat. We have beans here. Beans are fiber. Beans have protein. They also have potassium, right? So beans are good. They are a low glycemic index, meaning they don't spike your sugar up too high. And because they are high in fiber, they help to counteract the rice, all right? We have avocado. Avocado is also rich in potassium. It's also rich in healthy fats, okay, oils. And let's look at our rice here. We know that rice is higher on the glycemic index, meaning that it does tend to bring our sugar up, okay? We also know that rice is not very high in fiber, or there's actually almost little to no fiber in rice, so that it is a binder, right? It's typically what they tell you to have when maybe you're having a GI upset and you're having diarrhea. They tell you to have rice, right, to kind of bind you up. And we also know that it's very high in calories, all right? And then we have here, these are plantain chips. They really are to kind of just symbolize where my tostones would go, which are my green fried plantains. They're usually about this big each, and people might have like about, I don't know, I guess 3 to 4 of them. So I didn't make them today because I made all of this while I was packing the kids up for school this morning, okay? So I didn't make those, but these are to signify those where they would be in my plate. So looking at my plate, if you divide my plate in 4, okay? Let's divide my plate in 4. You're gonna see, I'm gonna move my avocado down here. You're gonna see that my carbs are pretty much half of my plate here. All right, this is half of my plate is carbs. Then I have, this is about a quarter, right? Remember, we're gonna divide our plate in 4. So this is about a quarter. I have a quarter beans, which is the fiber, and then I have my protein. So looking at this plate, it's not the best we can do, okay? It has some really good things in it, and that is the purpose of the food journal, is that there are a lot of really good things on this plate, right? And I love rice and beans, so I don't want to completely eliminate them out of my diet, right? So here is how I would set up my plate so that I'm balancing the foods that I love with the foods that love me back. So, and I personally think this plate is a lot prettier, okay? If you look, maybe, well, let's go through this plate and then we'll put them together so that you can really look and compare. If you look, where I had my rice taking up half of my plate, I now have more fiber. And today, again, because of time, I went with the easy route. I just made a salad. So in my salad, I have lettuce, I have peppers, I have cucumbers, and I have tomatoes. Okay, so that is half of my plate. But you can think of any kind of vegetable that you want. Like, I personally like string beans. I like a stir fry of like cauliflower, broccoli, carrots, and peppers. So here you notice that half my plate, where it was carb before, processed carb rice, right, is now my fiber. And lettuce has like no calories, right? But it's a roughage. So it's gonna help me in terms of regulating my bowels, right? Now, I did not get rid of my rice, but let's think about cutting that plate down again in half. Let's do it this way. I don't want my beans falling off my plate. So remember, cutting my plate in 4, right? So 1, 2, we have 4 different quarters here, right? Look at where my rice is. I actually measured this out, and this is a 1/3 cup of rice, which a 1/3 cup of rice, depending on the resource that you look at, it's about 60 to 100 calories. Whereas half a cup of rice, or a full cup of rice, excuse me, is about 200 calories, okay? So if you look, I have my rice now here with my beans. And before, remember that my rice took up the whole half of the plate, and then I had a quarter of the beans. Now my beans and my rice are together. Something interesting that you should know is that because my beans are high in fiber, they are helping to counteract the high glycemic index, meaning they bind to the sugar so that my sugars don't go as high. All right, so I have my beans, I have my rice, and then because I have less rice and more salad, which I know is not as filling, I gave myself 2 pieces of chicken here. So I have more protein here. You don't have to do that, but because right now I'm trying to build a lot of muscle, I need protein to help with my muscles, okay? So again, it's about what is it that you're trying to achieve, and how is the food that you're eating supporting you in doing that. So I have my chicken here, and then I added, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I added like a fresh salsa. So in the salsa, there's tomatoes, there's onions, there's peppers, and that adds more flavor, okay? And then lastly, I have my avocado, which we talked about are my healthy fats. I don't have a whole avocado, but I had about a quarter of avocado here, which is good because calories, avocados are still higher in calories. So if you can see the difference between these 2 plates, okay? Now, if I wanted to have tostones, which are my green fried plantains, I would still have one, but I'd probably have about 1, okay? I'm not gonna go for the 3 or 4. So again, it's about, you can still have it because it's more of a taste bud thing, right? It's more of a preference versus what your body actually needs. So you can still have it, but you have it in lower portions. You fill yourself up with things on your plate that are gonna give you good fiber. Fiber helps to fill you up. Fiber helps to keep you regular. Fiber helps to lower your cholesterol. It helps to lower your sugar. So it's a very good nutrient that you need to include in your diet. Okay? And when you fill yourself up with these foods, you're still having the foods that you want because of taste, but you're not needing as much of them. All right? So looking at these 2 plates, you can see the difference in my rice and my beans as well as my salad. So I want you to think about your plates this week. Every plate that you have, I want you to cut it into 4 quadrants. And I want you to see where can you start to lower that amount of your processed carbs. I did make a sweet potato as another option to show you, but it's fine. I think that you get the picture of what I'm trying to convey here, is that you really want to look at the plate and see where can you start adding more foods that have nutrients for you, that have fiber for you, that are less processed. So I hope you're starting to see that you don't need to completely restrict all the foods from your diet in order to start to see the results that you want. I'm also hoping that you're starting to see that you can start to form a good relationship and balance the foods that you love, as long as you start to think about, what is this food actually doing for me? So I'm going to give you one last example. This week I went for, we had all these apples from apple picking. Everybody's doing apple picking now. We had all these apples, and so I didn't want them to go to waste, so we decided to make an apple pie. And if I'm gonna have apple pie, I'm gonna have my ice cream with it, right? I want my butter pecan with it. So I had my dinner. I was very conscious about what I was eating in my dinner, so that when I went on to have my apple pie and ice cream, I wasn't piling on more and more sugar into my body. Okay, I made sure that at dinner time I had more fiber and less sugar. And then when I had my apple pie and ice cream, I enjoyed every single bite of it guilt-free. Now, I will tell you that I had a little trouble scooping out the ice cream, so I didn't have as much as I wanted. But later on in the night, right before bed, my taste buds were asking me for ice cream, okay? And I really was gonna go for more ice cream because I really wanted it. And I said to myself, okay, how is this ice cream going to help me achieve my goals? I'm going to Jamaica in 3 days. How is this ice cream gonna help me achieve my goal of having a flat stomach from my pictures in Jamaica? And that allowed me to be able to turn away from the ice cream. And instead I made myself some tea, and I put a little lemon in it that gave me a little like sweetness. Okay, so it's all about really being conscious about how you're eating throughout the day and balancing it. If you're gonna have ice cream and pie at the end of the night, you want to be able to enjoy that. So you're not gonna eat the entire day poorly and then pile on that pie and ice cream at the end. That's when you're not gonna see results, okay? But if you know you're gonna have your pie and ice cream at the end of the night, then you think about what you eat throughout the day. And that is what balanced eating is. Balanced eating is balancing your foods on a daily basis, so that you're not just consuming everything that your body desires. And I will tell you that the more you start to eat this way, the easier it's gonna be, because you're not gonna realize what foods are making you feel good and what foods are not making you feel good, how your body feels. And so it's gonna be so much easier to make these decisions, okay? So I hope that this is helpful to you. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling. I would love to see your pictures. I want to call this our happy meal. All right, so this right here is a happy meal. I might eat this right now. It's 11:30, so it's almost time for lunch. This is a happy meal. You can see that this plate is very full. Like, I will be full after this meal, okay? I would love to see your pictures. You can tag me at Fit with Erica on Instagram or in TikTok. If you want to show what kinds of foods that you're eating, you can definitely tag me. Now, next week, we're going to talk about how you as a busy mom can keep up with your healthy eating habits. I'm going to give you some tips on how I make it very easy for myself to eat healthy and stick to my fitness goals. All right, guys, until next time, keep smiling, keep dancing, and keep eating, because food is fuel. Bye-bye.